Hello, Story Buzz. Today I'm going to describe I Am Losing Weight, a Russian sports comedy film. There will be spoilers ahead, take note and be alert. The film begins in the Russian city, Nizhny Novgorod. Anya is a young woman in her 20s who lives with her lover Zhenya. He's a bodybuilder and swimming instructor. And she works at a bakery and she is always surrounded by food. She was a size 0 when the two first met, but she has added a significant amount of weight in just few months. One day, they are invited to a friend's wedding. Anya puts on clothing from a few months ago and finds out they no longer fit her. She calms herself by claiming that no one would notice, but the physical change is enormous. Zhenya is aware of this, but he refuses to comment on her weight increase since he recognizes that it is a sensitive subject for her. Anya finds a great outfit and gets dressed after trying on a couple and tearing several in the process. When Zhenya sees her in the outfit, his face falls in surprise. She is no longer the girl with whom he was in a relationship. He doesn't want to be caught with her at the wedding, since all of his fitness industry buddies will be there. He makes subtle hints in the hopes that she will stay at home. Anya, much to his relief, says she wishes to remain at home and order pizza. She tries to persuade him to stay with her, but Zhenya assures her that he will congratulate the newlyweds and return home immediately. He scoops her up and places her on the counter before going, but avoids kissing her. Anya observes the gesture but keeps her emotions hidden, and also hides the fact that she is hurt. After he leaves, she changes into comfortable clothes and weighs herself to find out she is 76 kilos. Although she is always complaining about gaining weight, her only resolution is to drink a glass of water after saying her daily affirmations. Even now, she cooks some fried food and scrolls through the internet while waiting for her boyfriend. While she is on the phone, she notices pictures of Zhenya and his friends at the wedding. She zooms into a group picture and is troubled to see that the girls Zhenya hangs out with are skinny and fit. She cannot help but compare herself to them. Then, she comes across a picture of Zhenya and a girl. On checking her profile, she is horrified to see a boomerang of the girl kissing him on the cheek. The video is enough for Anya to get dressed, put on some makeup, and rush to the wedding. She calls her best friend Natasha to pick her up. Natasha also notices that she has gained weight, but to her, Anya still looks just as beautiful. She holds her face, telling her to be confident about her body. When Anya reaches the venue, she sees Zhenya dancing with the girl and getting a bit too close. Jealousy makes the best of her, and she gets in between them. Zhenya is visibly surprised, but he continues dancing as the other girl scoffs and walks away. A while later, the couple takes a seat and Anya starts eating. She asks him why he was dancing with a girl, but Zhenya tries to pass it off by saying they were dancing in a group. When Anya pushes him, he lashes out and admits that he doesn't like her anymore. He adds that she does nothing but eat and has turned into a burden for him. Anya gets teary, but before they can talk, the newlywed couple approaches them. They try to smile, but it vanishes when the bride asks Anya if she is pregnant. Following that, Zhenya wishes her farewell and walks away. In the next scene, Anya is on a bus on her way to her mother's house. She is crying uncontrollably, not caring what people think of her. She walks into her mother talking to a date. He notices something is off and walks outside to give them privacy. Anya tells her mother that her boyfriend broke up with her because of her weight. Her mother comments that she is not fat, she just has wide bones that she cannot control. The remark makes her feel a lot worse than she already did. At night, she sleeps on her mother's couch while going through Zhenya's pictures on her phone. She also comes across a picture of herself from a few months ago. She zooms into her body and is saddened to see how much she has changed. The next morning, she gets a call from Natasha who asks her to come over. Anya takes a bed on Natasha's balcony and stays there complaining about the breakup. It turns out that Zhenya had come there last evening to drop off all her belongings. Natasha asks her to stay with her and her husband Demas for a few days until she finds her own place. She tries to comfort her friend, but Anya doesn't want to feel better. She only wants to cry and complain about her lousy ex-boyfriend who she wants to get back together with. Even Demas tries to make her feel better, claiming that she is the sexiest girl in the town, but it does nothing to help Anya. She spends the night on the balcony and is approached by Natasha the next morning. Natasha tells her the story about a friend who was in the same position as Anya. Her boyfriend broke up with her over text because she had gained weight. Instead of bitching and moaning like Anya, the girl went to the gym and got slim in only a month. The poor boyfriend regretted his decision so much that he filled her office with flowers to ask her to get back with him. When Anya complains that she doesn't have enough money to join a gym, Natasha suggests she use the 1-week free trial in all gyms in the town and do it for free. The next morning, Anya says her morning affirmations, drinks a glass of water, and goes to the gym for the first time in her life. She takes a while to get accustomed to the equipment and falls off the treadmill on several occasions. But all her hard work goes to waste because an hour later, she is at the restaurant eating for two. Natasha, who works in the restaurant, throws her food away, disappointed that she couldn't commit for more than 2 hours. She asks her friend to show some willpower. On returning home, Anya applies moisturizer all over her body and wraps it with a plastic wrap. She hopes that the trick will make her lose a few pounds while devouring a bag of chips. At midnight, she tries to steal food from the refrigerator but is caught by Natasha. The next day, she is determined to not eat anything unhealthy. This is especially difficult for her because she works in a bakery. While decorating a cake, she accidentally licks icing off her fingers and does 10 squats to make up for it. Throughout the day, food calls her name, but she controls herself. At one point, she is left alone with an entire cake. She stares at it for several minutes trying to make up an excuse to eat it. After pacing around and almost breaking a shelf, she gives up and devours half of the cake at once. Anya realizes that she has a problem. She looks for a self-help group for people with a compulsive eating disorder and joins a meeting. Amidst the group of ladies is a single man named Kalya. Anya introduces herself as Angela and lies that she doesn't have an eating disorder. Instead, she claims to be a journalist who is writing a story on eating disorders. The group tries to reason with their condition, not accepting the fact that they have a problem. An infuriated Kalya points at each of them and calls them fat, including himself. He also says that it is obvious Anya lied about being a journalist because she doesn't want to accept she has a problem. Anya pretends to get a phone call and leaves the meeting, but Kalya follows her. He invites her to a nearby restaurant and Anya goes, only because she cannot say no to food. Kalya proposes they become each other's fitness sponsors. That way they have to exercise with each other daily, ask each other before eating anything and provide emotional support throughout the process. Anya is unsure about Kalya's true intentions, but she sees no harm in trying. Starting the next day, they go to a park every morning to run. At first, Anya is reluctant to be with Kalya, but as time passes, she realizes that he is actually a nice person. He is not ashamed of what his body looks like, which is foreign to her. Spending time with him makes her love her body as well. They talk before every meal and are good at helping each other since they are going through the same problem. Soon, Anya starts to lose weight little by little. Her confidence wavers when she goes to pool parties and sees skinny girls looking gorgeous. Whenever she feels frustrated, Kalya helps her. They frequently scream on top of their lungs to relieve stress. Anya wants nothing but Jenya's validation, which makes Kalya jealous. In 1.5 months, she drops down 10 kilos and is ready to meet Jenya again. She buys a swimsuit and pretends to bump into him at a swimming pool. He works as an instructor and is stunned to see her. After chatting for a while, they get into the pool and start splashing water at each other. Everything goes well until the girl from the wedding arrives and introduces herself as Jenya's girlfriend. Anya is heartbroken for the second time. She parties and drinks all night to forget about him. The following morning, she wakes up naked in Kalya's bed. He assures her that he did not look at her naked. A flashback from the other night shows us that Anya was about to go home with a stranger, but Kalya arrived at the right time and took a punch in the face to save her. Following the strange morning, she goes to her mother's house and tells her everything. According to her mother, Anya has unresolved trauma from her father who left them when she was only a kid. Hence, she wants Jenya's validation even though he is not good to her. Anya understands what she means and goes to meet her father the very next day. She takes Kalya as her driver because the drive is 5 hours long. On their way, Kalya often tries to get closer to her, showing that he likes her, but Anya is oblivious to his advances. They finally meet her father Sergey in a wooden house, where he lives with a woman. Anya asks him why he didn't want to be involved in her life. Sergey, on the other hand, reminds her of the time he came to her birthday with a present, but she flipped him off through the window. At night, Anya accidentally drops a candle and lights the wooden house on fire. Sergey yells at her for ruining his house, not caring about her safety. Anya and Kalya return home immediately after. Before separating, she kisses him on the nose. Kalya is on the top of the world on his ride home. He even trades his watch to buy flowers for her. Somewhere else, Zhenya comes to meet Anya and apologizes to her. They end up making love after talking for a while. When Kolya returns with the flowers, he sees them and walks away disappointed. The next morning, Anya wakes up with Zhenya, who comments that she looks so much better than she did a month ago. Anya realizes that she does not need an unstable relationship in which she is constantly afraid that her lover may dump her. They have another quarrel, and Zhenya runs away. She travels to Kolya's residence that evening, wishing to be with a friend. But Kolya is so upset that he gives her an apple and tells her that their sponsorship deal is over now that she has dropped weight. She goes to Natasha's house the next morning, but no one answers the door. She enters the house recklessly through a neighbor's pipeline and enters through the window. Natasha and her husband apparently had a major fight, after which he disappeared. The girls discuss with one another and feel much better. Sergei returns the next day to see Anya and apologizes for being a terrible parent. Then he dances with her, just as he did when she was little. Anya travels to a fitness marathon to see Kolya after the two reconcile. She sees him sipping a cold beverage and throws it away, displaying her control as his sponsor. She also explains that because he has not dropped enough weight, it is her obligation to assist him in any way she can. They participate in the marathon and give it their all to finish it. Finally, Kolya gathers the guts to kiss her. Anya learns for the first time in her life that worrying about her beauty will not make her happy. Accepting yourself as you are, like Kolya did, is the key to true happiness. He was continuously striving to better his health, yet he was never self-conscious over his appearance. Anya wishes to follow him. To support the channel, please subscribe, enable on notifications, and leave a like.
Legends never die when the world is calling you. Can you hear them screaming out your name? Legends never die.